Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am excited today. This is another edition of the 3% Show. I'm doing this series, The Light from the Shy. We have wonderful guests in the audience today. I am Jay Davis. We have Ms. Arielle. We have the man of the hour, Mr. DJ. How you doing?
Good.
Now, I'm just going to do a little part here, D, and I'll be right with you. This is, again, part two of the segment dealing with wonderful people, wonderful things, and education, kind of to normalize everybody, to get everybody to understand about the spectrum. The 3% Show, I believe that people will show you 97% of their truth. However, the 3% that they do not show you holds power in their life, no matter if it's good, bad, inspires you daily, pushes you daily, or gives you the most fear. So today we're here to just get the honest to God truth from everybody. Part one, if you missed it, it was awesome. You can always find that on the YouTube channel. It's already premiering. And without further ado, my co-host today, Mr. DJ. How you doing today, sir?
Good.
Good, good. Now we just had a little conversation. Who do you want to win the NBA championship this year?
Again, the Lakers.
Absolutely. And who's your favorite player?
LeBron James.
LeBron James. And why do you like LeBron so much?
Well, when I was a kid, I started liking LeBron, and I go with LeBron. Even though if he moves, I would go a different jersey.
Absolutely. Well, he has been traded. He has chose to take his talent to many different places. Which team did you enjoy LeBron being on the most?
Mm, last time he was on the Cavaliers.
Oh, you like hometown. Cleveland, this is for you. Absolutely. What made you want to? Well, second of all, I saw you have football games this weekend, right? How'd you do this weekend?
Super good.
Super good. What super good? What was your stats? What did you do?
Two interceptions, two touchdowns. One was a pick six, and the other one's an interception, and one running touchdown.
So are you a running back in safety, or are you just that good to be everywhere at one time?
I just did good anyone in one time.
Okay, I had to ask if you Kid Flash because I watched the Flash. I'm Barry. I love Barry, so I didn't know if he was Kid Flash out there. So if you're doing all of that, then you're ahead of the game already. We need you to come to K State, Kansas State University. Football, Kansas State will pay you. They'll pay you. Let me see what else. Why do you want to become a broadcaster? What inspired you to say, "Hey, this seems cool," or is it something that you just genuinely love?
So when I was like not in your shoes sports,
Hmm.
and I was wondering when I can be a sports announcer. I want to be a sports announcer for any channel, and then when I grow up right now, I am thinking to be a sports announcer when I grow up.
And that's awesome. And it's a lot of schools as well as trades that you can do. It's a lot of people that can help you. I do know Temple University has a great broadcast journalism class. Kansas State has a great broadcast.
You plugging Kansas, huh?
Hey, I'm a Midwest boy. I'm a Midwest boy. And, it's just inspiring. And I just wanted to let you know, and I'm thankful that your mom allowed me to speak to you. You truly inspire me. You inspire me. I love the fact that you're able to get up and speak to people because I've been shy my whole life, but I love talking. So I'm just now starting to get to the point where I'm ready to talk. I got a microphone and more. I've seen pictures of you at the radio station. So I just wanted to let you know that I truly appreciate who you are. And I'm going to share this with any of my friends that I feel might know somebody that can get you in more areas, even if it's one person. More than anything, your story, the young man that you are a blessing, and your family is a blessing. And we want the Lakers to win so we can talk about it wasn't just a fluke in the bubble. And plus, I like Shannon Sharp, so I want to say Skip. Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't no problem.
Who's your favorite announcer?
I forgot the one who usually do Fox. Joe Talk. What is his name? Joe.
I don't know.
The one who do Fox.
Mommy doesn't know. I'm
Does
cool.
he just do football or does he do all sports?
All sports, doesn't he?
Maybe. No, I think he just do football.
Oh,
Oh, so it's I don't know. It's one of them.
Channel Fox. He usually do it.
I'm gonna look him up. Does he know how to dress sharp, or does he just wear sneakers and jeans?
I don't think he wears sneakers and jeans.
I'm football players. They know.
because I don't know who that is.
I think his first name is Joe. Yeah, his first name is Joe.
I'm gonna look him up. Well, Mom, do you have any questions that you would like to ask him here that may be important or vital or inspirational? Because this platform is not about me. This is
We'll do this. We will. So last week was it you had, or maybe the week before last. So every Monday he's working on writing in his class, and every Monday they have a writing prompt. So they usually call it their weekend news, but recently their teacher has been switching it up a little bit to expand their ability to form full sentences and ultimately paragraphs. So about 2 weeks ago, the writing prompt surprised me. His response was, "What do you love about yourself?" And you want to share what you wrote down when the teacher asked, "What did you love about yourself?" What did you write?
I forgot what I did. What did I love how I love sports, I think.
That was one, but before you said that, you said you love that you are
Amazing. Hardworking.
there you go, hardworking.
absolutely,
Why
absolutely.
do you
That's
feel
beautiful.
like you're hardworking?
Because I'm always paying attention. I never get distracted, and
Maybe sometimes.
but only at home.
Only at home. You see that?
Oh, only at home.
Only at home he's distracted.
Don't tell your secrets. Don't tell your. It's your truth, but don't tell your secrets.
Only at home. Wow. And what's your favorite subject?
Math, PE, and music.
Really?
It's math.
The most is math.
And what do you love most about your parents, if I can ask?
They always buy me like amazing stuff and take me to amazing places.
Well, that's nice. And what do you love most about your little sister?
I, I
Maybe how she's like super excited to see you after she's gone all
I'll
day.
let us think about that.
Yeah. You want to tell them?
So I feel the happiest thing I feel about my sister when she comes back from the daycare, she always yells my name.
And that's awesome. That's what being a big brother is. And the more that you continue to be a young man that you are in studies, math, and more, then you will always be able to provide and protect your big sister, and she'll be looking up to you. And hope that she don't try to be a sports announcer too, because little sisters always try to take your shine. They always shining.
Maybe.
Well, that's beautiful. I appreciate you allowing me to talk to you, Mr. DJ. This podcast that I'm doing today is centered around how proud of you I am, to inspire other people and families to honestly take the time to just listen to their children, invest in their children, pray over their children, and build with their children. And like I said, I've watched your particular DJ's lens in your playbook too. And I was just so inspired, especially the playbook. I shared it. And I particularly agree with you on the draft. I wanted him to go number one. But Clemson's quarterback went number one. Chicago got the player you wanted. So it'll work.
Oh, but this one is not a Chicago fan.
Oh, who's your favorite NFL team?
Who's your favorite NFL team, you asked?
Steelers.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
My uncle played for the Steelers. Him and Terry Bradshaw were roommates, so I can deal with the Steelers.
Yep, and he sticks with it. Don't he used to be I know
Antonio Brown.
yeah, so Antonio Brown is what sparked that. And we thought when he got switched to the who's he play for now?
Tampa. They just beat my Kansas City Chiefs, Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
But when he got like switched with like the first time, it was the Patriots.
Oh, the Patriots. Oh yeah, that was short lived. Yep. But we thought he would switch up, and go with his favorite player like he does with LeBron. But that didn't happen. He remained a Steelers fan, and we just can't figure out why. And we thought even with the recent draft, he would come on to the Bears, but he says no.
I can live with that. I believe you can be a Pittsburgh fan and you can have a player that you love. So it makes sense. And all in all, it makes sense.
But we always encourage him to not be persuaded by anything else and go with what, his own individuality and what his heart desires. So.
And that means a lot. That's everything. He'll be his own man, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate his daddy for introducing him to sports. And I need that leverage to be Kansas City Chiefs one day. In basketball for college, UCLA Bruins, just UCLA everything. It's beautiful out in California.
I'm like Oregon everything.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, he's in Oregon.
Colors. Oregon is tough. Oregon is tough in basketball. They're tough in football. So that's not a bad school at all. I love Oregon. They always play tough. I like their uniforms. They have like 18 different uniforms almost.
Yes.
White, green, wine.
The football uniforms. Yep. He's a super Oregon Ducks fan. So that's another thing we're working on, hopefully to get him there soon to see an Oregon game. But he's obsessed with Oregon and has never been to Oregon a day in his life. So
really? Well, I'm supporting you, and if I hear anything, I'm definitely going to try to bring it your way. Definitely for him, for all of you all, so he can go ahead and get on that field and see it and at least walk through.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you want to go ahead and continue with you, both of you all, or?
We can go ahead and continue with me. You want to hang out with us?
Yeah.
Okay. He wants to hang out.
All right. No problem at all. Well, I'll just have a few more questions. As the pastors always say, I won't be before you long.
And then before you long.
I ain't gonna be before you long coming off. Like I said, I saw you getting pampered. You was chilling. Your eyebrows is nice. Mother's Day was just yesterday. If you're catching the show, yesterday was Mother's Day. So I wish I was her because she had on the nice thick house shoes.
Oh, yep.
Just doing like this.
Chance to relax, right?
So one of the questions I believe we left off last time was me just commending you all for having your daughter and expanding the family without any worries, basically. Yes. And just going full circle with that. And I was just going to allow you to elaborate on your thoughts and reasoning how I believe it's so important that life continues to be normal. We just make adjustments in life and live a beautiful life from there.
Yes, absolutely. So, as I was saying before, the research does show, I don't know the exact percentage right now, but there is a higher chance that once you have one child with autism, you can have another child with autism. That was never for me a determining fact, like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to have any more because, I don't want to go through this anymore. We were more so on the opposite, that if, and in fact, it did happen, we would be more prepared now. This wouldn't be something that was new for us or something we're trying to figure out how to navigate. We would kind of have a jump start to notice things even earlier, or just to be able to know where to go if we're seeing speech concerns or any other delays. So we wouldn't let that stop. Like you said, autism, the diagnosis itself is just that. It's a diagnosis. It's not a life sentence. Absolutely. And it's important to know or to learn, be open to learn how to navigate life through it. like you just mentioned, making adjustments for both the person who has autism, whatever family member it is,
Mhm.
and then making those adjustments for your family as a whole, and going about it in the most positive way possible, and still going through life, still providing those same opportunities, those same experiences with just those tweaked adjustments. So one of the things he mentioned is, he enjoys the places that we take him, and we're big on having experiences, whether that be having to do the research ahead of time. For example, in the summertime, right? Everybody loves being out in the summertime. You have tons of festivals and picnics and, outdoor events. But one of the things he can't tolerate is fireworks. So before we do anything, we have to look up, do they have a fireworks show at the end? Or
Right.
if they do, that doesn't mean we can't go. We just alter the time that we need to leave so
Mhm.
that, he's not disturbed or bothered by that. Or if he feels he's at a point where he can tolerate it a little bit, making sure we have his headphones present.
Right.
If we took him, was it been 2 years now ago, to Kids Bop concert. He loves Kids Bop. We wanted him to experience that, so we had to, make a purchase, have the headphones, know where the nearest exit was in case he needed to go, do
Right.
frequent checks, making sure there's a sensory toy available to help when he may feel overstimulated in a point in time in the show. And just, it causes for a lot of planning, but it can be done.
Right. And even on the last episode, I don't know if for those who haven't if this is the first one you're watching, they had a great idea as far as introducing everything that was going on with family members while having a dinner. You're just
Mhm.
educating the immediate family around you, and I think that's important. So
Yes.
I still think that is a grand idea. So then they can educate their own children or whoever may come into their lives to understand everybody has certain needs, no matter if it's emotional, physically,
Absolutely.
sensitive, everything. So that's why I said normality is normality within people. And also, I appreciate it. And hopefully, these cities and states will have more sensory friendly adventures, or at least have
Getting
nights
better.
out. It's
It's
getting
getting
better. I know museums and
better.
zoos do most of the time.
Yes. For I know Chuck E. Cheese, they usually do like the first Sunday in every month, where they open earlier for people who have sensory issues, because you can have sensory issues and not necessarily be autistic.
Correct.
Um, but just have sensory issues. A lot of places now are incorporating different days of the week that they do things. So it is becoming more inclusive than I'm sure it was in the past. It does take some research. I do know that AMC is another place that has a fantastic program where they have sensory screenings.
Mm,
That you can look into that. It's just, it takes time. You have to put in the work. But if you look at it as something that your child, your sister, whomever it is, can benefit from, it's
the
not work.
reward.
It's more of a reward so that they can enjoy things just as much as you do.
Absolutely. And that's a good segue to this next question. I
Okay.
feel like I do this podcast to give other people platforms. So it's not about clout for me and more. I believe me and you had spoke behind the scenes about something, how when you post something and it's only like 2 or 3 likes on it, you feel like, oh man, am I making a difference? But you turn around and the DM questions are more than, the sharing and more. If I might ask without displaying people's information, what do you feel like your top 3 questions are after people visit the wonderful playbook and DJ's lens? Because he's so inspiring and you are so inspiring. And you already know I'm going to say your husband is so inspiring, the gentleman. I'm a tall person, so I'm going to ride with him. What do you feel like the top 3 questions or inquiries that you may get just, without people blatantly asking on your post?
The number one question I think I always get is, when did you know? What signs or red flags, what things were there? And the other is, what's the first step that you take in finding an evaluation?
Hmm.
So, as a main resource. And then I often get asked a lot in regards to help with navigating the school systems, which is a completely different beast when it comes to IEPs and inclusion services and equal education services and those different things. But the most common question is when or how did you know?
Hmm. And we went over that in the first podcast, part one. I don't know if you want to elaborate on that, or should they just tune
Sure.
in part one?
So as I tell people, when I knew would be different from anybody else. Everybody's journey is different.
Mm.
So I tell people, like, don't take the age that I tell you, which DJ was about 18 months, and say, okay, my child is 18 months, so this must be it, or they're 3, so nah, this can't be it. Everybody's journey is different.
Personal experience.
Exactly. Personal experience, just it's just different as a whole. So for me, like I said, my professional background doing developmental assessments kind of gave me a jump start or inkling that I knew something was going on, and I jumped on it. So I always tell people, when you have that feeling that you have to question is when you know.
Ab-
Not necessarily that, there's a for sure diagnosis, but that you have a concern. Whenever you have a concern, that concern is there for a reason, act on it. And even if you go through an evaluation process and it turns out to be something different, or you find a different result, it's still worth it.
It is.
It's better to know than not know, and then you have a better way to navigate life and navigate maybe the frustrations that you're currently dealing with or the questions that you have. It's a tough subject sometimes to talk about, and even for people to be open and disclose with someone that they trust. But I always say, talk to, if you don't have anyone personally that you can talk to, always reach out to a professional. And in that aspect, it would be your child's pediatrician, um, to ask them for referrals or assistance or guidance or where to go. Or if
Mhm.
a local parent support group or an organization such as DJ's Lens, to reach out. But whenever you have that inkling that it may not be autism, it may be something completely different, it may be ADHD, it may be a sensory processing disorder. There's plenty
Mhm.
of things that could be going on. Everyone's story is different. But when you have that inkling kind of stirring in your heart or in your gut that, something's going on, act on it. Don't
Absolutely.
act on it.
And that's something that I truly love about what you're doing and how you got started and more is because even though you speak off of life experience and knowledge that you're learning, you always do recommend, if push come to shove, always ask professional. And that's so important for me. I know that you're in the shop. Okay. I already said Funky Buddha Lounge. I was sweating.
Oh my God.
But just to, I always like to give people their flowers while they're here and ask questions. What other organizations are you working with, if any, in the Shy, or did anybody inspire you kind of from the Shy to go ahead or kind of point you in the right direction that you would like to give them a shout out, or is there any shout outs that you would like to give?
Oh, put me on the spot here. I just shout out anybody who is working for change in whatever community, whatever subject area it is.
And it doesn't have to just be, in the spectrum. It's just people.
No, no. I have a couple of good friends that have all started mentorship organizations
Mm,
for the youth in Chicago. Some specifically with young teenage girls, some with younger young women, I should say, some with male mentorship. So I don't think I have a specific organization, just anybody who's doing the groundwork to make a change in their communities with something that means a lot to them.
absolutely, because I have just named three that I know of, and I'm going to inquire and let them know about your program. A gentleman named Anthony Townsend. He has Make It Look Easy, and it's a poet. And it's
Hmm.
Dee Tyler. And I believe she just won Chicago's Best Poet. They call her the Goddess Warrior Poet. Super dope. I've heard some other things, and we got Minx Custom Crafts. So for me, I'll talk to a friend named Aries, and one of our biggest things is she's out in the community giving away free food to in certain areas that most people wouldn't go to. And she refuses to allow people to call Chicago Chirac when there's great people trying to do things, but it's just not advertised. So, you know, I always talk back and forth with her and more. And that's why when I saw your story and saw where you were from, I just wanted to get the news out that, hey, the news is going to give you one thing, but we always have to find and seek out what's the truth if we're not living in those communities. So I commend you. Where would you like to see the nonprofit? If you didn't know, she has a nonprofit that's wonderful, doing great things. Where would you like to see your nonprofit go now and after DJ's older and he's broadcasting and giving out the city's game?
Hopefully. No, I'm just kidding.
Hopefully he does soccer and take you to Madrid. I'm just saying, soccer is a beautiful thing. Travel.
I'm just letting him do whatever he wants to do. He's in football now. He says he wanted to do baseball in the summer. So just letting him find his way until he finds what he loves. But for me, yes, we have an organization. It's called DJ's Lens. Obviously, it was named after DJ because he gave us the blueprint and the introduction to autism, but it's to help anyone in the autism community. So it's one, to provide a service for those who are living with autism. Two, to provide the service to those who support those in terms of living with, helping, because there's different levels and variations on the spectrum. Some require more intense work, others don't. So those that are living with or supporting, whether it be a grandmother, an aunt, uncle, sister, cousin, whomever it may be, and then also ambassadors. So people that may have no personal relationship with someone in general, but they just want to be an ambassador for change, to allow for more acceptance of those living with autism spectrum disorder. Right now, we are focusing on doing community events, smaller scale events, because we are more of a personal touch, but our goal is to definitely become larger, help the masses, eventually have a brick and mortar, a physical location where we can offer community resources, specifically for those living with autism, and not in terms of autism education. Foremost, autism awareness, but autism education, autism resources, whether it be nutrition, legal services, navigating the school system, things that we were just talking about, where to go if you're looking for alternative ideas or different things like that. Caring services for those. I know people who have adults living with autism who cannot be necessarily alone or living by themselves independently. So services, where do you go if you may need in-home assistance?
Very important.
So I would love to be ultimately just an umbrella of resources to push and give back to the community as much as possible, whether it be financial assistance with therapies. Those type of things can get very complicated, whether it be public aid or personal insurances that you're using to get those services, or finding different providers in different areas. Just being an umbrella of help to be able to help anyone we can. And even if we can't help directly, we know someone else who can. So it's not like, an organization trying to beat out the others. I've had some opportunities to begin to connect with other organizations that have similar goals or missions. And it's always, it's larger when you work together. So there's not one way to do something, or one way to navigate something, but just to be, help in a collective front to help as many people as we possibly can. And as for DJ, I often put out positive things. Yes, we have our struggles, and I put out occasionally things like that, but I just feel like the world is already consumed with so much negativity. If you want to see something not going so well, just turn the news on,
Absolutely.
And story after story after story after story, you feel drained sometimes after listening to that. Or with the stories sometimes of people living with autism, you hear about the things that they can't do. Or sometimes I've heard parents tell me, doctors have told them their child will never become verbal, or their child will never walk, or their child may not ever be able to develop appropriate social skills to have friends. So I try to put out positive content with him, just to show that there are some things that can happen. Not saying that, he's the only way and this is the only way to go, or try to put out there as if we're better than anyone else or anything like that, but just some positive content to more so motivate and encourage those who may be on the fence about things, and
Absolutely.
not know where to go.
And that's true. Then that's one thing I love about your family and more. And I appreciate your sis because, like I said, I wore this shirt. It all started when I was buying shoes when I wasn't supposed to be buying shoes.
See, no, you were supposed to be. See,
She saw this shirt and it was Autism Awareness Month last month, and you know, she just told me about you, and I looked it up instantly, and just I wanted to be connected because, like I said, it's a lot of people that are. It's too many people that are human, and not enough humane people in the world.
mm,
And transparent is huge for me, and I
mhm,
appreciate that. Like I said, I won't be before you long. The
mhm.
last question that I have always goes with the show.
Okay.
Basically, what do you think that your 3% is after reflecting over your life? What do you feel like the most important thing that you feel that inspires you or gives you any kind of feeling? What do you think your 3% and the purpose of that is?
Oh.
Take your time. Let them lead you. Let them lead you.
Mm. Okay. So explain to me again. The 3% is what now?
The quote is, I believe that people will show you 97% of the truth, which is admirable if it's true. But the 3% unspoken holds power in somebody's life, no matter if it's a good thing, a bad thing. It's something that drives you every day. It's something that you have to overcome to push forward. So it's just the important things that normally you wouldn't randomly see displayed. It's an internal thing.
Hmm. For me, ooh.
Because for me, my biggest fear is success. That's why I'm doing and getting things out, getting over myself to understand that it's not about me, it's about what I can lead to and give somebody a platform and push more and self confidence and just anxiety and more, just overcoming things like that. The simplest things that most people wouldn't think. They think I'm Will Smith. I'm
Yeah.
goofy. I'm Marty. When it comes to it, it's just a deflection, me smiling when I used to have issues. So that's
Mhm.
why I say my 3% is truly just being okay with being me versus what people want me to be.
Hmm. I would say for me, and the lessons that life has kicked my butt and helping me learn is, we're kind of nurtured to have expectations for things to go a certain way, right? So
Hmm.
if we're thinking from the time we're born, you're in a great family, you go to school, you graduate, you get married, you find a career, you get married, you have children, and it goes on. But life does not always happen like that. And for me, if you would have told me I would have been doing something like this even 10 years ago, I would have never believed you.
Mm.
So as much as we want to set goals, which is great, I've learned you also have to be okay with what life gives you. Because for me, you can have plan A to B. Yep, I'm going to live here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And something happens, whether it's internally, a traumatic external event, something happens that alters that plan or alters the route or even shifts your goal. I went to school to be a counselor, a professional counselor. I was a licensed professional counselor, and I was going to change the world, right? In a sense of social work, helping the youth.
Yes.
And then I created this being, and he introduced me to something completely different. Still helping people, but in a different capacity, a
Mhm.
different community of individuals that I knew nothing about, and being okay with that. In terms of, physical moves, physical jobs. I'm in early education now, early childhood education now.
Mhm.
Wouldn't have expected that maybe even 5 years ago. So just being okay with not having to always have a plan where it's do.
Right.
It goes
Fully.
this way exactly. And when it doesn't go that way, being distraught that, oh no, I didn't hit this mark by age this, or, I didn't do this by this time. It's okay. As long as you're alive to see another day, it's another chance to do something different. Or you could still have that goal, but it's just not time for it right now.
So positive, so real.
Yeah, you just don't have, it's just not time. You have goals to, whether it's own your own business, and it may not be working right now. You may have to continue to do that 9 to 5 right now, or whatever it may be. It doesn't mean that it won't happen. It's just not time right now. And whenever it's time for you to do whatever it is, it will happen. So for me, it's just learning to be okay with things not going as planned.
Absolutely. And that's huge. That's huge because I come from an educated family and educated friends and loved ones. And, that's huge when you understand that life is life and it's not perfect. It doesn't go
Nope.
what you expect. So, wow. That's a word. That's a message for some who might be listening because I never would have thought I would be doing this ever. I was sabotaging myself for years for the sake
Yeah.
of, and I'm glad it happened now versus when I was younger because I appreciate it. And my intent is even more serious and more real now. So I
So never
definitely understand that.
never be discouraged. And I'm learning even more so from my husband that to take a chance, take a risk. If you take that chance and that risk, you don't know what will come from it until you do it. So
Hmm.
I would rather say this happened when I did X, Y, and Z versus I wonder what would have happened if I had done X, Y,
X,
and Z.
Y, and Z. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I hate the time is running because we had such a good time the first time, and I didn't want to hold you. But
Right.
you know what? I truly appreciate you. Um, I will say, if you ever would like to come here on a panel, be on the show, or anything that you're trying to promote, please let me know because I will always have room for you. As you can tell, I'll be in contact. I'm in contact. I will continue to share things, tell people. I appreciate you talking to my sis. She's an
Yes.
awesome person here. So now at least you know somebody in Houston, Texas. My
hmm
little nephew, he's a ham. He cracks me up every day.
I love making connections with not just with women, we have a special bond, but just parents in general, people in general.
Yeah.
But this past Thursday I had an opportunity to meet with a group of virtually with a group of moms, grandmothers, godmoms, cousins, just supporters of someone living with autism. And you have some who have been navigating this system for 10 plus years, that
Mm.
know a lot more. And then you have some who are currently waiting on results from an evaluation or, a newly diagnosis. And to connect that, I told them, gave them an example of, it being, I don't know if you've ever seen the image of a ladder where there's a person there and you're reaching back to grab the person that's behind you while reaching up to connect with the person that's ahead of you.
Hmm.
It's not a race, but a connection. And just to be able to connect each other, also being a support system, a venting board, whatever it is that we may need. Like I said, if I can't get you the correct answer, because I never deem myself to be a professional, I always put that out in that field. But let me see how I can help you get to the right person that you need to be with to get the answers that you need or the help that you need.
And that's so important because the key thing in that is listening to what's needed instead of just generally just shipping them off to somebody. It's different layers, it's different textures that come with this. And like you say, no matter if it's simple, nonverbal, or whatever the case may be, when you have a unified front and you're connecting, then you kind of have an inside scoop on, well, let me send you here. I've
Mhm.
heard their story. Let me go ahead and educate you and send you to this place instead of just the general things sometimes, if it's necessary. But,
Mhm.
it's good to always know who's in your neighborhood and in your area. And I think that's so important. And that's what I think is beautiful about your story and your IG Live. And for anybody that's listening, her bio will be um, on the available.
Mhm.
And the nonprofit information will be on there, the website, the email. The bio is wonderful. I'm not even going to add my thing. If you would like to be on the show, please reach out to the just all one word, the 3% at Gmail. I mean, the 3% show at gmail.com. You can find me on YouTube under J Davis, JAY number 5. And Mr. DJ, sir, appreciate you being live. Is there anything that you would like to say? I'll let you end this today because you're the broadcaster.
Are there anything you'd like to say maybe to another family that's living with autism?
So when you have autism, sometimes it might be hard. You might move when you're like, you might lose seeing, might lose talking, you might lose walking, you might lose um, seeing,
Mm-hmm.
and you might
Talk to the camera.
lose smelling. And I know what it feels like if I have autism and I still have to find my senses.
Mm-hmm.
If I lost like seeing, I won't be able to see, and then everybody had to help me. And let's say I don't have like a nose or something, then I won't be able to smell what is it. And let's say I'm like blind or something,
Mm-hmm.
I I won't be able to see. So sometimes you need to help people, each other, even though they're like blinded.
Whatever they may be going through. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome that you're thoughtful of other people too. That's very important, not just in the spectrum, but just period. And that's what makes you more humane than a lot of humans walking around. And I always want you to build on that because your story can make somebody else realize that they're important and their life is for somebody else to build on too.
And we learned that we're all different, but we're all human, right?
And unique.
And unique. See?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and end this, but I will talk to you a little bit after this.
Oh,
So if
sure.
you'll hold on for 1 second, I'll go ahead and get this taken care of for you, okay?
All right. Thank you for the opportunity. If anybody needs to reach out to us, please do. Our Instagram is DJ's Lens. We also have a website at www.djslens.org. I'll have some new blogs coming. Or if you want to reach out to us via email, rourdjslens@gmail.com.
And yes, that will be in the link again. I copied and pasted. I'm going to make sure that we do it again because this is truly an inspirational thing. It's something that's near and dear to me, and I'm holding it together, but I am so excited I got a chance to speak with you all.
Thank you.
All right, hold on for 1 second.